Chapter 5: 5 Rules to Develop a Strong Sense of Self-Efficacy. While there are dozens of techniques to develop more self-efficacy, there are only 5 fundamental rules that will provide you with more results than the rest of the little tricks combined. No matter how much you remember from other chapters, this chapter alone will still be enough to benefit from this book and develop more confidence in your abilities. The key, as with everything else, is to focus on the process, not the event. Self-efficacy can't be built overnight, but these small blocks add up quickly to a strong foundation. Set goals slightly above your ability. There are 3 personal zones of achievement: comfort zone, stretch zone, and panic zone. Look at the image below. Comfort zone encompasses all of the things you're familiar with. These are all the things that are comfortable and easy to do, skills you already possess, spending time with people you know, learning about concepts with which you're familiar. Panic zone consists of all the things outside your ability. Trying them will lead to panic and decreased self-efficacy. These are things way outside your abilities, like public speaking in front of a huge audience while you can't present in front of a few people. Stretch zone is where you want to be. It contains all of the things that are challenging, yet possible to achieve with your current level of abilities. Things that belong to this zone are within your reach, but make you feel uncomfortable. Example, chatting up a random stranger while you find it challenging to ask for the time. By setting goals slightly above your ability, you will gradually improve the confidence in your abilities. Each small win will build on top of the previous one, combining into a big achievement that will do wonders to your self-efficacy. The question of how to stretch your comfort zone depends on your personality. Some people prefer small steps, venturing just a few steps outside their comfort zone. Others, like me, prefer the more extreme approach and trying things bordering the panic zone. The former approach is slower, but less traumatic, and with a lower risk of failure. The latter approach is perfect for people who are impatient and are okay with the increased chance of failure. Try both of these approaches and see which one works better for you. To give you an example, let's say you possess weak self-efficacy in regards to waking up early. You don't believe you can wake up earlier than, say, 10 a.m., but you'd like to change it. The first approach would be to slowly start waking up earlier and earlier, 9:55, 9:50, 9:45, and so on, so that in less than 2 weeks you'll wake up an hour sooner. This will develop the belief that since you were capable of constantly waking up 5 minutes sooner, you can keep doing it until you achieve your target hour. The second approach, the one I prefer and use to change my daily schedule, is to set your target hour and wake up right away this early. For instance, if your goal is to start waking up at 6 a.m., you set your alarm for 6 a.m. There's a higher risk of failure. After all, it's not that easy to wake up 4 hours earlier than usual, but if you succeed the first day, the sense of achievement will help you wake up early again the next day. A shy person who wants to become more confident has 2 options. The first way is to focus on small challenges and increase the difficulty gradually. Ask strangers for the time, for the directions, chat up a clerk in the store, talk with a random stranger. The second way is to pick the biggest challenge, but not so big that it leads to paralyzing panic, and face it head-on: public speaking, approaching a random stranger, etc. Break goals into smaller pieces and simplify. People with low self-efficacy believe that tasks are harder than they actually are. Consequently, they don't plan properly. After all, what's the difference if you think these tasks are too hard? It's a vicious cycle. You don't plan your tasks because you think they're hard, and these tasks are hard exactly because you don't plan them. It's easy to get overwhelmed, especially when you don't believe in your abilities. Building a business feels like building a medieval castle brick by brick with your bare hands. Shyness feels like a lifetime sentence without parole. It feels as if it's going to take decades to master a foreign language. According to the 80-20th rule, 80% of the results come from 20% of the efforts. Breaking your goal into small bite-sized pieces that provide the biggest benefits is the key to develop more confidence in your skills. Let's say you want to learn how to speak a foreign language. There are many aspects of a language, hundreds of grammar rules, thousands of new words, new pronunciation and intonation rules, sometimes a new alphabet or characters. However, do you really need to master all of these things right away? If your goal to learn a foreign language is to communicate with native speakers, all you need to focus on is the ability to speak with them. Writing isn't important now. Neither is grammar or imitating the sounds of native speakers perfectly. Let's break it further, as the ability to speak with native speakers is still too vague and can provoke self-doubt. What's the key thing you need to master? Let's say it's 100 or so basic sentences, questions, and statements. Suddenly the huge goal doesn't seem so overwhelming. In a week or two, you can develop an ability to hold a simple conversation in another language. Ask yourself how you can break your own goal into smaller parts. Consider how you can cut away the unessential to reach the core of the issue. The more manageable you make your goal, the more confident you'll be in your abilities to reach it. A simple way to help you break your goals into smaller parts is mind mapping. I use free software called Xmind to break huge concepts into smaller, easy-to-digest key aspects, which I further break into the most fundamental ones. Focus on the big picture. As American author, speaker, and pastor John C. Maxwell said, you cannot overestimate the unimportance of practically everything. Don't waste your time and energy worrying about the little details. People with a strong sense of self-efficacy take a wider view of their goal in order to create the best plan. It starts with breaking it into smaller parts, but what's even more important is looking for the root of the problem. A study on experts and novices 19 shows that novices get stuck thinking about the surface of the problem, while experts look deeper and concentrate on the underlying principles. It's not the tactics that are important, it's the strategy. Gary Keller describes this approach perfectly in his book The One Thing, the surprisingly simple truth behind extraordinary results 20 by asking himself, what's the one thing I can do, such that by doing it everything else is easier or unnecessary? A person who doesn't believe in her abilities will start with an unfocused plan. Consequently, she'll have a hard time working on her goal. On the other hand, a person with high self-efficacy will first spend time identifying just one thing, a priority that will render everything else unnecessary, and only then start working on her goal. Reframe obstacles. Cognitive reframing is a psychological technique of identifying and replacing negative beliefs, attitudes, and ideas with the positive ones. One of the most important characteristics of people with high self-efficacy is that obstacles motivate them to keep going. Their underlying belief is that each obstacle they overcome is a step closer to success. If you want to improve the confidence in your abilities, changing how you think about obstacles is key. People with low self-efficacy consider setbacks the proof that they should give up. Their thinking usually goes something along the lines of, damn, another obstacle. This is too hard. Life is telling me I can't achieve this goal. Restructuring how you think about obstacles is a process that starts with self-awareness. Each time you find yourself discouraged and ready to give up when faced with an obstacle, remind yourself that they are there for a reason. As American professor Randy Pausch said, the brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are not there to keep us out. The brick walls are there to give us a chance to show how badly we want something. Because the brick walls are there to stop the people who don't want it badly enough. They're there to stop the other people. Point 21. By being aware of your thoughts and actively trying to replace them with the opposite thought, you will slowly reduce the power of this belief on your self-efficacy. Soon, you'll stop thinking of obstacles as the reason why you need to give up, and you'll start thinking of them as the reason why you need to keep going. Below are a couple of examples of reframing. Original thought: a native speaker couldn't understand when I told him about my family. I'll never learn a foreign language. Reframed thought: a native speaker couldn't understand when I told him about my family. Now I know I need to spend more time learning vocabulary related to family. Original thought: I tried speaking with a cute girl and she brushed me off. I'm so awkward, there's no way I'll ever become confident. Reframed thought: I tried speaking with a cute girl and she brushed me off. It helped me deal with rejection and gave me ideas how to improve my conversational skills. Original thought: I lost all money I invested in my business that never took off. I better focus on my day job, as I will never succeed as an entrepreneur. Reframed thought: I lost all money I invested in my business that never took off. I learned what doesn't work and will apply these lessons when starting my next venture that's bound to be more successful. Take control over your life. People with high self-efficacy believe that their own actions and decisions shape their lives, while individuals who lack a belief in their abilities may see their lives as outside their control. In psychology, this concept is called locus of control 22, the extent to which you believe you can control events that affect you. Changing your worldview is fundamental if you'd like to develop self-efficacy. There's no shortcut to change it overnight, though. Your personal experiences and your interpretation of them has deeply ingrained your beliefs about the locus of control. For one person, with high self-efficacy, losing money on a new business venture is the result of her wrong hiring decisions, bad business idea, or not enough capital. Another person, with low self-efficacy, will blame the economy, even though there are always businesses that thrive during the crisis. You can change your beliefs about control in a similar way to changing your beliefs about obstacles. Each time you blame something or someone else for your failure, think of the reasons why it could have been the result of your actions and decisions. Taking responsibility for your actions is difficult at first, but once you learn how to acknowledge your mistakes, you'll be able to improve your performance. Moreover, shifting your locus of control from external to internal factors will reduce your stress levels 23, which, in turn, will also improve your performance. To give you an example, one of my most notable failures was starting a software business. Just a few months after I invested a considerable amount of money in it, I decided to call it quits. It would be easy to say it failed because the world was against me, because the economy made my potential clients poor or something like that. But that wasn't the case, and never is. The business failed because I shouldn't have started it in the first place. It failed to grow because it was me who sabotaged it. Everything was in my control, and it was my control that made this business fail. As strange as it may sound, I find it a reassuring thought to know that it failed because of me. For a simple reason, I knew exactly what caused its demise, and I'll do better next time. If it was something outside my control, I couldn't learn anything from this failure. And that's precisely the opposite of how to build self-efficacy. 5 rules to develop a strong sense of self-efficacy. Quick recap. 1. Set goals slightly above your ability to gradually increase your self-efficacy. There are 2 approaches you can take: do things that lay just a few steps outside your comfort zone, and wait for the results longer, with a lower chance of failure, or try something more difficult that borders your panic zone, where growth is extremely difficult. 2. Break goals into smaller pieces and simplify your tasks. The more you cut away, the less overwhelming your goal will appear, which will help you overcome the disbelief in your abilities. Remember about the 80-20 rule that says that 80% of the results come from the 20% of the efforts. 3. Look deeper than the surface. Find the underlying principles that will help you achieve success instead of looking for the little secrets. There are none. 4. Change how you think about obstacles. Start with self-awareness and monitor your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking why the setbacks prove that you should give up, come up with the opposite thought, why they mean you should keep going. 5. People with high self-efficacy believe that it's their actions and decisions that affect their life. If you want to develop more confidence in your abilities, you need to change your worldview and accept the responsibility for your own life. No amount of blaming something or someone else will help you make your life better.